And for various reasons, I then was taken out of that school, and my sister and I started attending public school in our town. It was a very rough transition. I don't think that I really did very well at all, especially, at that age, at 12 or 13, when, those are very difficult years for any kid. So I was immediately ostracized, bullied, picked on, you name it. I had no friends. And that was the case up and through high school. I graduated probably with one friend and a couple friends outside of school who I worked with. But that was about it. My parents always wondered why I had no friends, why I never had a girlfriend. Those years were particularly difficult because I knew that I was different. I knew that I was not right. I wasn't like the other kids. The other guys were talking about girls and thinking about them and everything else that had to do with, teenagers in high school. I was completely the opposite. I was thinking about guys, and then I was thinking about, how dare I think about guys? What's wrong with you? You're a terrible person. You're going against the grain. You're disobeying God's law. And I grew up feeling that way, that I was a mistake, that I really had no right to live. After graduating high school, I started going to college, very piecemeal at the time. I was, extremely depressed. I felt that I really had no purpose in life. I had to live straight and have a family and try to be happy, or I could be gay, not knowing any way how to do that, and not have any friends or family anymore because I felt that they would never accept me, or I could just not live anymore. So I had three choices. They were pretty extreme choices, to be honest. I felt that I could not lie to myself. I would never be happy. It wouldn't be worth living anyway if I did that. So I didn't feel that I could live a straight life. I had tried. I had tried to date girls. Very few, but I did. And it never got past the point of just us talking. But I knew my heart wasn't in it. I had absolutely no attraction, no feelings. As hard as I tried, as hard as I prayed to have them, prayed to change, prayed to be normal, it just was not possible. Then I also tried to be gay. Of course, secretly, which I found out later, many closeted gay men do. Especially at that time when the computer and the internet was really, the rage, that everyone was starting to get computers and be on AOL. There were chat rooms, gay chat rooms were huge, and, every closeted gay or closeted gay married men, especially, were in there looking for one thing, to try and fill that void. Fill a void that really couldn't be expressed in any way, because they had to hide themselves. Society and their families and even themselves couldn't accept the fact that they are different, that they would love another man or another woman. You have to be straight. What's wrong with you? There's something wrong with you. So they look to sex to fill that void. And that is the way many gay men go. Unfortunately, and a lot of people don't know this, I went the same way. I had recently told people by way of Facebook, after the Matthew Shepard legislation had been passed by Congress, that I was ecstatic about that because I had experienced a similar type of crime, what I consider to be somewhat of a hate crime, that I had met up with a man who said that he was straight, but he was just looking for a way to, I don't know how to say it, just, sometimes he had these feelings. So I felt, wow, that's exciting. I get to make him feel good. So he really didn't accept himself. And I've only met him one time, that one night. And then when I went over to his house, I didn't know where I was going. It was a very strange part of the city in New Brunswick. And he took advantage of me. He raped me. And at that point, that's really when I internalized a lot of my feelings. I felt that I was a horrible person, that God needed to teach me a lesson, that I need to stop this kind of behavior and act normal, and this is what's going to happen to me. That at some point, it's going to be even worse, that I'm going to be dead. And I couldn't tell anyone about it. I couldn't go to the police. What would they have thought about me? What was I going to say to them? I couldn't go to my family. And I felt that my friends weren't even going to support me. So I held that in. And I went years and years and years just doing the same, trying to change, trying to be someone who I was not. I had thought about reparative therapy, where they give you electroshock therapy, that they try to pray the gay away. I had even looked into that, not as seriously, but even recently. Because I still have in my mind that maybe this isn't right. Maybe God is telling me that, although what I'm doing now makes me happy and I feel good about it, I feel more secure, that maybe this still isn't right, that maybe I'm really, I think I feel happy because I'm doing something that's sinful. And usually sinful things make you feel happy. But I'm just being, I'm giving into lust, I'm giving into gluttony, I don't know. So I still have those feelings, especially with what's been going on with my grandparents. Maybe God's giving me a message. Maybe they're really the right ones, who know what's best for me. And they're holding out and they're saying, Brian, we're not going to give in. We believe that you're doing something very damaging to your life. And this is me just replaying this over and over and over in my mind. So, as I go on, I realized that this type of behavior that I was going through, these random hookups with people, and by the way, after I was raped, I did not stop doing that. People who have actually experienced that knows that it becomes an addiction because you have absolutely no other way of expressing yourself. I didn't know that there were other people who were gay and living out as gay people around me. I didn't know one person. And I didn't feel like I had any other means of support. So the only way I was able to get that, and the only people who I was really able to express my feelings towards were people who I just met online. And I would just talk to them online. Sometimes I would go over to their house, meet them on the side of a road, whatever it took.